Journalism under digital siege. The day was instituted by the United Nations to celebrate the fundamental principles of press freedom, defend the media from attacks, and pay tributes to journalists who have lost their lives in the line of duty. This year's theme is intended to highlight the multiple ways in which surveillance and digitally mediated attacks endanger journalists and journalism, according to the United Nations. At least 3 persons are reported dead and properties destroyed by alleged men in uniform in Memphis, southwest region. Locals say some men invaded the locality yesterday, leaving 3 civilians dead and properties burnt to ashes as the population is respecting the lockdown rules imposed by the separatist fighters. A non-governmental organization, Clove Cares, passionate with humanitarian activities, has donated food items and basic necessities worth 6.5 million francs CFA to some underprivileged families residing in Dwala. Nsah was present.
Love Cares, a baby of the American Kringle Society, whose global objective is to feed the hungry in collaboration with the Bitcoin, on Saturday, April 30th at Pakovita Bonamusadi Dwala, put a smile on the faces of the less privileged groups of persons of our society, made up of the visually impaired, physically challenged, orphans, and the poor. The Goodwill Ambassador of Kringle Society, Cedrick, led the delegation.
Actually, our society is founded on the principle that humanity has the capacity to uplift themselves from the morass of poverty. For me, growing up as a child, that was really in need, and I understood what poverty is all about. I understood what it means to get up in the morning and you don't know what to eat in the afternoon or in the evening. So I told myself that I can be able to break the yoke of poverty in my life and my family. And after doing that, I asked myself, what next? The thing that I should be able to look at others who are also in need. The food that we are giving is just a widow's mite. I tell you what, we shall be able to give more like educational facilities, why not rehabilitation centers as we are moving forward.
Over 500 underprivileged persons in Dwala were reached with funds of about 6.5 million francs CFA.
We have reached out more than 500 people, less privileged today. We have the blind, the dumb, we have the orphans, and we also have some people that are, many of them in their homes. We had to gather them here to give them food. And yeah, we actually did a needs assessment, meaning that we went to some of their houses, we went to some of their centers, and we really make sure that they are really in need before we invited them. So we have given them goods today worth 6.5 million francs CFA.
The Divisional Delegate of Social Affairs for Wuri, Delphine Tamenchek, lauded the gesture.
Give the civil society the technical support to organize the celebration of giving donation to those children, to those handicapped persons who are vulnerabilities for someone to get something to eat.
Janang An is a beneficiary.
This company
Fengwe Irene, a visually impaired, the donation will relieve her of the high prices of food items on the market.
I'm very happy because you know the time now, everything is here in the market. As we people living with disability, it's not very easy for us because can you imagine that a mother or a father will have 4 and 3 children who don't have something to eat home, and you people come and it lights us here. We are so happy for this occasion.
It is worth mentioning that Love Cares, which is also into capacity building programs for the less privileged, will next be visiting Nigeria, Ghana, Uganda, and Bangladesh for a similar activity.
Cameroon's political capital, Yaoundé, is littered with a huge heap of debts as the Nsah workers have been on strike for unpaid salaries. Colette Loom tells us more.
Yaoundé and its environs stinks again as heaps of debts have been abandoned on major streets. Inhabitants of the city of Yaoundé have been inhaling strong smell from the heaps of debts dumped along major areas in town after the company in charge of keeping the town clean abandoned duty and on strike for unpaid wages, going by some of these workers who spoke behind the camera. Though Labor Day just commemorated in Cameroon, there are still issues of non-payment of wages of workers. Following this unpaid salary for workers of the waste disposal company, few weeks ago in Yaoundé, council officials expressed doubt if this company would continue cleaning the town because of its numerous challenges. Streets in the city of the Seven Hills is all littered and very uncomfortable for traders selling near road domes or people who ply the road inhale this strong smell. Here is the Nsah roundabout known as Carrefour Dispensaire, littered with dirt, stinks and makes the environment quite uncomfortable for business persons who say they don't have a choice because they still have to earn a living despite the condition they face. The case of this trader.
Depuis un certain moment, on a remarqué que les agents d'Isaac, ceux qui travaillent, ne viennent plus constamment retirer la poubelle.
For quite some time now, we noticed that the waste disposal company, Isakam, no longer come to liquidate the trash can as they were doing before AFCOM and immediately thereafter the competition. Well, they say everywhere that they are undergoing strike action in regards to unpaid salaries. Because of this reason, they no longer come to collect debt as at first, and it is in the entire town of Yaoundé. As a citizen, it is true the odor is so uncomfortable and causes problems to our health. The only solution I can propose is that those in charge should check the system of the company and pay their workers because it has been consistent so they can resume disposing trash in the entire city. It is all over Yaoundé and it portrays a bad image for the country. It is true AFCON came to pass and the visitors left, but Matthew, there are still visitors who are residing in the country and this is not a good image for our nation. We are at the Nsah dispensary, just 100 francs a stone throw to the Olembe Stadium.
Nous sommes ici au dispensaire Nsah, justement à 100 francs du grand stade, du grand stade qu'on vient de construire à 100 francs. Stade Olembe.
Worth noting, since the arrival of the dirt disposal company, commended efforts have been done to clean up the city of Yaoundé to the acknowledgement of the population. As unpaid wages intensify in the country, the company has on several occasions complained to no avail, most often as they carry out their activities.
We flip to our health page. Every month of May, health personnel, communities and mental health advocates raise awareness on the importance of taking care of mental health. Our health lady, Bokengo Worthy, tells us more.
Mental health is the emotional, psychological, cognitive, behavioral well-being of a person.
Mental health has to do with your psychological, emotional, and social well-being. That's practically how you think, how you feel, and how you're able to react to certain things. Now, going with WHO's definition, which to me is quite simple, WHO tells us that your mental health has to do with your state of well-being, in which you're able to realize your own abilities, you're able to cope with the normal stresses of life, and you're able to give back into your community.
Sexual assault, child abuse, isolation, chemical imbalances in the brain, trauma, peer pressure, low self-esteem, broken relationships, and more are some causes for mental health breakdown, as well as other triggers.
Loneliness has a great impact on our mental health, and it could equally derail you from realizing who you are or meeting your full potentials. Now we have triggers such as panic attacks, we have triggers such as post-traumatic stress disorders, we have even discouragement is a trigger.
It should be borne in mind that mental health troubles can affect anyone regardless of age, ethnicity, as well as status, giving its signs and symptoms.
Mental health has to do with our mind. Now, some of the symptoms of mental health is one, you lose your interest in activities. You lose your interest in friends and family members. You want to isolate yourself on your own. You lose interest in a lot of things that usually interest you. You no longer want to do them. You want to sleep more. You start thinking too much. You realize that you have mood swings. Right now you're happy, in the next 5 minutes you're angry. You don't eat healthy. Well, mental health affects us differently, right? For symptoms, some people tend to eat a lot while others tend not to even eat at all. Some people tend to want to be extremely dirty, and other people tend to want to stay in the dark.
Laying emphasis, the mental health advocate states that
mental health issues do not just go away. At the community level or at an individual level, you could always support a friend, support a sister, support a loved one, support a stranger. You could always help them manage this situation. One, just the fact that they know that somebody is here for me, like somebody is genuinely here for me, somebody loves me, somebody cares about me. It will help to manage their situation, because what we need to know is that all what mental health people who are suffering from mental health issues need is just the love, the compassion, the care, knowing that they matter, they are valuable, they are enough, they are needed.
Following this year's theme for mental health awareness, which is back to basics, it is important for all to get involved in breaking mental health stigma, manage triggers, show love, kindness, as well as give a listening ear to those in need, so as to help reduce the estimated 1 billion cases worldwide.
In sports, the Fédération Internationale de Football Association, FIFA, has ordered African champions Senegal and Nigeria to play one match behind closed doors after crowd disorder during March 2022 World Cup playoffs. The ruling body issued a series of sanctions worldwide after studying dozens of cases from World Cup qualifying games played since the start of the year. Among the African nations sanctioned are Cameroon, Egypt, Algeria, Democratic Republic of Congo. Out of the country, at least 8 people are said to have died and many feared trapped after a 3-story residential building collapsed in Lagos, Nigeria's largest city. According to the Nigeria's National Emergency Management Agency, 23 people have been rescued alive, including 7 children and 16 adults. 9 of those rescued have been treated and discharged. The cause of the collapse, which happened around 9:30 p.m. on Sunday, is yet to be established. It is not clear how many occupants were in the apartment building. The relationship between Mali's junta and France continued to deteriorate as Mali's junta declared yesterday, Monday, May 2, that it was withdrawing from its defense treaties with former colonial ruler France. They cited flagrant abuses of national sovereignty by French forces stationed there. Spokesperson Colonel Abdoulaye Maïga cited numerous instances of French forces violating the country's airspace. France is yet to respond officially to the junta's announcement. And that was all for today's edition of Prime Flash, produced by Junior Pelama. Thanks for watching, faithful viewers. You have many more stories on 3:30 p.m. Prime Info with Gladys Bomotongina and 6:30 p.m. Prime News with Fon Quinta. Stay glued for more programs on The African Eye. Bye.
My Media Prime TV, The African Eye.